Howdy guys, Chris LaRose here of LaRose Hat Company, and I'm working on a project that's a little bit different than what I normally do. I typically sew all these old-fashioned button front short coats and pants and things like that, and I have never yet done a zipper. And one of the things that I want to do in the future is a really cool 1940s style mechanic jacket that has a zipper, and so I wanted to figure out how to do zippers. So I got the phone propped up here on the workbench, and I have these really cool, is it gonna focus? Damn. All right, well, I got these really cool reproduction 1930s, 40s style zippers that you're only going to be able to see in a blurry way because it doesn't want to focus. But anyway, they got these really cool designs on them. Real Art Deco looking designs at the stopper box here. And they're pretty darn hard to find. But if you're a little OCD like me and you want to make something that looks exactly like the real deal in the 30s, you'll spend hours online tracking them down. So, like I said, I had never done a zipper before in my life. I don't know how to do them, but I do enough sewing that I think I can figure it out. I have this 1940s vintage. It's an early 1940s vintage Woolrich work jacket that I bought offline, thinking that, oh, this is really cool and hard to find, and it looks in good shape. And the guy lied to me, and the zipper was broken, and there were holes all over it. So I'm using this as an experiment to practice doing a lot of the darning and skills that people don't do anymore, and practice putting a zipper on. So this is the original 1940s zipper that I just took out, and what I'm doing right now is I am shortening this reproduction zipper. For other reproductions, it's a little easier to do this, but how I understand doing this, because for the reproductions, you kind of get them one length and you got to modify them a little bit. So what I did is I zipped it up and I laid the zippers out, and I marked with my little chalk pencil where I need to shorten it to be exactly the same length as the original. And so then you start the slow and arduous task of taking these nippers. On some of these zippers you can just pull the teeth off with pliers, but this one is a little bit stubborn, and it is proving that you need to just cut them off. So you take these little nippers and you cut each one of these in a way that it pops off. And you probably hear the dehumidifier going in the background, so sorry for the buzzing. So I'm sure there's a more correct tailor way of doing this stuff, but I'm a little old-fashioned, and I really like to try to practice my problem-solving skills and figure things out on my own. And then after I do it that way, I'll go and look something up and ask somebody who knows what they're doing if I did it the right way. And then I'll take their advice on how to do it better and modify how I do it in the future. And a lot of times I find that when you figure something out on your own, you're pretty darn close to the right way. And for me, at least, I learn the lessons a little bit better because I did it the hard way, and I know why you do something a certain way. So now, on zippers, I got one side torn off here. I have this little stopper up at the top, and I wish this stuff would focus better for you so you could see it. Interesting zipper history is on old zippers, on like 1940s and early zippers. You won't have these little things that look like fishing split shot. They're like little horseshoe things, and they go on here, and they're a little horseshoe on both sides. And that's one of the ways you can tell an old zipper or a really good reproduction of an old zipper. And then starting in the 50s, late 40s, 50s, this is the original one, they started putting these little crimped split shots on there. So I'm gonna try to split the one that is on the reproduction, and I might later use the one on the original. Kind of messed this up a little bit, getting it off. So while I'm doing this, I can tell you some of the interesting stuff I'm working on. Since I started LaRose Hat Company 2 years ago, I have always made, I've sewn, traced, cut, made, mended, repaired all of the things that I make on my own, one at a time. And so every custom order I personally make myself. And there's a lot of really cool stuff that I want to do in the future, and I try to, keep up on all the orders first, and then once I get caught up, then I start working on new projects. And I was finding that I didn't have enough time to do all the orders and work on new projects, and I really want to do new things, like a different chore coat version or a mechanic coat version and overalls and things like that, and I just don't have time to draft it or to learn how to draft it. There we go, I got it. Yeah. So I met with an American-based garment manufacturing company and paid a whole bunch of money to their pattern drafter and got the ball rolling so that I can have specific stuff made for me in America, kind of like a stock, so I can just have a stock run of certain things or a limited run of certain things, and then I can keep sewing custom stuff for everybody and working on new designs and things, which I think is really cool. So, I mean, I'm still going to be sewing full time, that's definite. And I wouldn't want to ever give that up because I love doing it. But I do want to be able to have other projects and products for people to get in the future so that they don't have to wait 3 months for me to do it one at a time unless they want one that I personally made. So, so here, I can show you this so far. So here's the side that I tore all the teeth out of it and put the stopper box back on. And the other side that I still have to do. I'm going to wrap this video up, but I do want to answer a couple of questions for people regarding zippers, because a lot of times people ask questions about it and just don't know the answer to it. So, the number one question that I get from people asking if I can fix something for them is, what happens when your zipper at the bottom splits like this? Is there a way to stitch that tear back together? The answer is no, you can't fix that. That's a dead zipper. Nothing's gonna resurrect this at all. Can't do it. What if the little cylinder end splits away from the bottom, so it splits like this? A lot of times you'll still be able to zip it up for a while until it rips all the way up here. And they ask, well, can you put a piece in there to save the zipper? Can't do it. Can you sew this piece back on? Can you glue it? Can you do anything? Nope. Unfortunately, If anything happens to this side of the zipper, you're toast. It's game over. Same with this side. This is what's called the female side, or the slider side, and this is called the stopper box. If anything happens to this, if you lose a tooth down here, unfortunately, you can't do anything about it other than replace it. So a lot of times you can get replacement zippers for pretty cheap, like YKK makes them. But if you have an old garment, like this 1940s Woolrich, and you want to maintain the, the vintage integrity of it, you got to find something like this, which is what I showed you earlier. And this is a reproduction 1930s Talon zipper. And they look similar, but if you're into the details, if you want it to say the Talon at the bottom and have the little Art Deco shapes at the bottom, or if you want it to be a grommet zipper, if you want the ones with the horseshoe tops up here and this style puller, then you got to source these things. And they're pretty hard to find, but they're out there. You can get them. So that's an answer with this stuff. Another question is, somebody's got a zipper halfway up and the teeth are loose, so it still zips, and the tooth is still on there, but the tooth moves around and it kind of gets stuck, and then you can go past it. Is there something you can do to fix that? No, you can't. You're toast on that one too, unfortunately. Like, zippers are really cool. They're really neat. I think they're one of the most incredible inventions ever out there. They were invented way, way, way back in like 1898, and they were used on boots first, like galoshes and things, in the 1910s, 20s. They started getting used on shirts and jackets in the way that we see them in the late 1920s, early 1930s, like 1932, 33. So they're incredible, but the downside is as cool as they are, this stuff happens. A tooth gets loose, you got to replace the thing. A tooth comes out, you got to replace the thing. If you tear the zip slider side, or the female side, or the male side, which is the barrel side of it that goes into the box here, you got to replace it. Not all zippers are the same size. They're sized by numbers, like number 5 zipper, number 3 zipper, number 7 zipper. And I don't remember the order. I think the lower the number, the bigger the zipper. These are all number 5 zippers. Number 5 is by far your most common size that I've observed. So that's answers to the zippers for you. Original 1940s reproduction that I'm going to finish shortening the right way, or the way that I think is the right way. And I'll be putting it back into this. Another interesting fact, I don't know if you guys all care about this stuff, but this stuff is, I think it's interesting because a lot of times people ask why things are done certain ways, and they don't know why. But when you tear one of these apart, you figure out why. So a lot of times, if you have a zipper and you're having somebody put it in for you, if it's something like this is the collar right here. If it's something like this, a lot of times the factory will put the zipper end, like that part, up into the collar, so that when you zip it up, it goes right up to the top there. And the one thing is, a lot of times if you have somebody replace a zipper, they won't split the seam and then get the old zipper out of the collar, and they won't put the new one up in there the way they're supposed to, so that it does what it was supposed to originally. They'll kind of just cut it off, start the zipper a little lower, and I think it's just a lazy way of doing things. And especially if you got something from the 30s or 40s that you're going to be spending all the money on a reproduction zipper, and however many hundreds of dollars you got to pay somebody to do it, you might as well just have them do it the right way. So that's something that I find interesting. Also at the bottom, this is the hem. You got to split the hem to get the stopper box all the way down in there, so that the zipper goes to the bottom the way the original was. If you don't do that, which most people don't do, it'll go up to here, and then you'll have this extra piece hanging out, and it just looks a little sloppy. So these are the small details that go into doing this stuff the right way from my observation. Like I said, I've never done one of these myself yet, but I'm doing it the way that I wish all the people who had replaced zippers for me had done it, instead of ruining my jackets for me. So, cool stuff, in my opinion. If you're a technical person, even if you're not tailoring, if you're into technical stuff or history, it might be interesting too. So, I hope you guys liked the video. It's probably pretty long-winded, but oh well. So, thank you so much for watching. I'll show you guys the finished project once I get this done. And, yeah, take care, guys. Bye.